by Vivienne Pearson Posted January 20, 2019 6 hours 0 minutes and 8 seconds, I'm at the Australian Open. The scoring system is familiar, but the rest of the lingo is not. Despite the clear January Melbourne weather, the roof is firmly closed. The world number one is here, but it's not Novak Djokovic. This is real tennis, a game that has hardly changed for centuries and is so niche there are only 11,000 players and fewer than 50 private clubs to play at worldwide. It may be an expensive sport to play, but the prize money for professionals is a far cry from the riches of lawn tennis, the name aficionados give to the modern, upstart version. It's a risky endeavor. We don't exactly make millions, said Camden Revere, 31, an American who is currently the best-ranked player in the world and probably the game's only full-time pro at the moment. Most professionals work at clubs and tour at the same time. Revere started playing the game when he was 5 after watching his father and grandfather play, before turning pro in his last year at high school. Unusual for a game that typically attracts an older crowd. I was always a small kid and this a game where size doesn't matter, he said. As much as I loved other sports, they always frustrated me. Just the fact that someone could be taller than me and win. You can outthink your opponents. There's so many different ways to win a match. It's unique. I was 10 years old and playing against 30-year-olds and finding a way to win. Because it just doesn't matter. Squash, tennis and chess. Known at Royal Melbourne Tennis Club, a private club located on a narrow residential street in Richmond, is only a few kilometres from Melbourne Park. The club has a cloistered feel, reminiscent of the sport's origins in French monasteries, hidden from the outside but captivating once within the walls. My guide is Josie Tan, the only Australian woman competing in the Open. In a sport predominantly played by older, white men, she's female, Asian and 27. The Real Tennis Australian Open attracts professionals and amateurs from the other 3 countries that have courts, the UK, the US and France. Real tennis is the original racket game, played on an indoor court and perhaps best described as a mix between squash played on an indoor court with wall rebounds, tennis, called lawn tennis by real tennis players, with identical scoring, similar racket and ball, and chess, with complex rules and strategy. The complicated rules include chases, which are delayed points. Chases add a layer of complexity to the game that keeps you coming back, said Tan, who is a keen amateur player. Tan has found that real tennis has a powerful pull on those who play. I love the game, she said. It's incredibly difficult to master. There are so many scenarios and ways to play that it keeps you coming back, fixing its snobby reputation despite the elite competition underway. The atmosphere in the club is relaxed and friendly. The game has etiquette embedded in its rules and it seems this culture of respect permeates the wider club environment. It's an incredibly social game and this club is an incredibly social club, Tan said. Some overseas clubs are known for being far less welcoming, which contributes to the snobby reputation of the sport. I can understand why people think it's elitist, Tan said. She and others at the club stress that this reputation is something the club seeks to change. Senior professional at the Royal Melbourne Club Jonathan Howell said, "We want kids to play. We want everyone to sample it. I am so proud of the game that I want everyone to have a go." It is clear though that initiatives such as introductory nights for newcomers, cheaper trial memberships and partnering with local schools all have to happen within the bounds of the economic realities of running a club and the fact that there are only 4 courts in Australia, 2 in Melbourne and 1 each in Hobart and Ballarat. A lot of people don't come across this game until they are over 30 when they are settled, have a stable job and can pay the membership, Howell said. The slower pace and importance of strategy allows many people to continue playing into their 70s and 80s, and a worldwide handicap system means that players of any age can enjoy a competitive game. A new sport for Murray. One of the charms of the game, both for players and onlookers, is that history is alive and well in real tennis. Rackets are still made from wood and balls are stitched by hand. The board of male world champions since 1750 consists of a mere 28 names, giving current players a tangible link to their predecessors. The private, club-based structure of the game and the fact that the walled court makes viewing and filming difficult mean that real tennis looks set to remain a niche sport in the domain of the relatively wealthy, but the charm and challenge it provides to those in the know will ensure its survival into the future. I wouldn't be surprised if the vast majority of tennis fans following Melbourne Park's Australian Open have not heard of the historical version of their beloved game, nor of Revere, who went on to win both the men's singles and doubles real tennis titles this week. One person who might be well-placed to change that is Andy Murray, who has said he might have played his last lawn tennis Australian Open game. Given that many come to real tennis as their second sport and that it is less physically demanding than its more popular counterpart, Murray might be perfectly placed to step back in history, swap aces for chases, and return to our shores one day for the real tennis Australian Open. Topics: Community and Society, Sport, Tennis, Melbourne 3000, Vic, Australia.